on today's show. Nothing else absolutely matters except for this Yakuza Like a Dragon, aka Like a Dragon Yakuza TV show coming to Amazon Prime.
What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Good Games podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, analysis, Yakuza breakdowns, and funny stuff every Friday. I am one of your hosts, Andrea Renee, joined by Mrs. Rihanna Manuel-Peña.
I'm just sitting here admiring Brittany's chest, which is adorned with all of the best husbandos.
And Brittany Brombacher is here bringing her husbandos.
I'm moist.
You know what's weird about this shirt is that because of the blurred borders between all the faces and how they're different sizes, it's like an optical illusion, and I don't know what to do about it. It's like they get bigger as it goes down, and I'm like, it's breaking my brain a little bit.
And I like how Ree was like, all the best husbandos, baby girl, this is the same man.
I know, it's just like so many different angles.
Except for this one, I know. It's so creepy. Someone took Kiryu's face and face cammed it and put a big smile on every single one of it, and it's absolutely disturbing. But y'all know I break this shirt out when it's important news, and this is an important fucking week.
It sure is, for a variety of reasons, everybody. But before we jump into that, thank you to this month's super producers, Faris Attieh of Punkdefied, Justin Foshee, and Joshua Franklin. And we've got a wonderful new reviewer. Did you know you can leave us a 5-star review? It really helps out the show. Like Strawby160, Brit.
Yeah, it kind of breaks my brain. At first I wanted to say strawberry. I was like, no, that ain't the name. You also forwarded us a very sweet email, Andrea, that was sent to our What's Good Games inbox.
Yes.
I'm trying to get their name. Sarah Homer.
I definitely teared up, so thank you so much for your very, very sweet, kind message. The fact that anybody takes the time to write us anything of that caliber is just mind-boggling to me. I appreciate you taking the time to let us know how much the show means to you, so thank you. It helps keep us going when, our spirits are dampened.
I also really love Sarah's message because it's so close to my own. I was very much inspired by people who I follow in the gaming industry to make my move and get in there, and I did it. And
you did it.
It kind of worked out a little bit. So yeah, that was really sweet to read.
Heck yeah. So thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. We appreciate you. Supporting the show also is BetterHelp, and we'll tell you more about that in just a little bit because, Brittany, it's time to talk about Like a Dragon, a Yakuza series coming to Amazon Prime Video.
Okay, yeah. Oh, my God. I've been waiting for this moment since yesterday. I'm gurgling and burping and farting and burping all at the same time. It is so great. When I opened X, I hate calling it that, and the announcement was there, I made the most disturbing sound. I didn't know my body was capable of making a sound like that. It was like a mixture of death and arousal is what I told John. And Jason was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Blah." No, I was not okay. Okay, yeah, so this is a TV series coming to Amazon Prime, and a lot of folks were like, "Oh, this came out of nowhere." And yes, we weren't expecting the announcement now, or I wasn't even expecting it anytime this year, but late last year it was teased that Sega would be exploring more IP in different forms of media because the Sonic movies had done so well. So they specifically mentioned Roblox TV series, and the IPs they mentioned were Persona and Yakuza. It was Yakuza at the time. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And I'm just going to go and read this thing that I got from IG. And Andrea, I know you pulled another story, but I got my notes, baby.
You do, you girl.
Fucking go. Okay. So it is simply titled Like a Dragon Yakuza, which also, pause. What are we doing with this titling, friends? It was Yakuza, and then it was Like a Dragon, and now you have the show called Like a Dragon, Yakuza. But, cool, I get it. You do you, I don't care. It includes 6 episodes. The original series is directed by Masaharu Take, best known for the drama series The Naked Director. And now, I don't know anything about The Naked Director, but now I want to. So I went on Rotten Tomatoes, and I looked up this show to see, what is this show about? Will it have good reviews, bad reviews? What's the scoop? Very, very good reviews. And just from what I read, it sounds like it has a tone similar to that of Like a Dragon in terms of it's action-packed, it involves like a criminal underworld, and it has what's called slapstick comedy, according to some reviewers. And that perfectly sounds like a Dragon, so that got me all, I mean, even moister. I mean, I'm just soaking at this point, so it doesn't even matter. Like, let's just be fucking real. So the series stars the hugely popular Japanese drama and stage actor Ryoma Takeuchi in the role of Kazuma Kiryu. And at first I Googled this person immediately. This is a young-looking gentleman. He's 31. But then if you look at when this series is going to be taking place in 1995 and 2005, Kiryu is 27 and 37, respectively. So it's going to match. It's going to do good. All you have to do is slap some muscles on this boy, which he got, by the way, if you saw the freaking art for this. Oh, my God. And put a tattoo on it, and he's going to look just fine. I think he's going to do a great job. Everyone who knows of this actor is very excited about him being the role. So, yeah, we get 2 batches. I don't know if they actually broke down how many episodes comes out in each batch, but October 25th, we get episodes, and then we get more episodes on November 1st, 2024. So that's this fall. That is, like, very soon. I think this all makes a lot of sense because if you look at when this series is going to be taking place within the Yakuza timeline, which it is loosely based off of the 2005 oh my gosh, you just want a trailer. I'm getting so distracted. Based off of 1995, 2005, which is the very first Yakuza game. It makes sense. So my assumption is that we're going to take 1995 when Kiryu was just a baby little Yakuza. Something happens. He goes in prison for 10 years, comes out. It's 2005. So I think that's probably why they're splitting it up the way they are. So this is where they start talking about the show itself. So the live-action crime suspense series is based on an original screenplay loosely inspired by the first game in the series. It will be set mainly in the Kamurocho Entertainment District, straight from the games, and follows Kiryu and 3 of his childhood friends in 2 time periods, 1995 and 2005. So most people would read that like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, hold the panties. Who is the 3rd childhood friend? Because we know Kiryu has 2 main childhood friends, Nishiki and Yumi. Who is the 3rd one? So I put this out to the Twitter sphere, the X sphere, and some people were thinking it was, I'm going to get in the weeds, just roll with me. They're like, oh, it's probably Reina the bartender. I'm like, nah, she didn't grow up with them. That's not a childhood friend. And that would seem like a real big stretch of the canon to make her the 3rd mysterious childhood friend. And some people even had the audacity to suggest Majima. And I'm like, get out of here. I don't even know what planet you're from, but go back to it. But then someone very intelligent reached out and they're like, I think it's Nishiki's sister, Yuko. And that's who I'm banking on. We don't ever really get to see her at all in the games. I believe we don't even see her ever. I think she makes a cameo in the actual Yakuza movie. So if she's going to be the one included, that's really interesting because, like I said, we don't really know much about her except for what's going on with her personally, which I don't want to spoil right now. So anyway, I would love to see it. I think that would be a wonderful, wonderful fit and a really, really good choice. Okay, what else do I have here? Okay, so similar to the game's protagonist, Kiryu is described in the show's press release as a fearsome imperialist Yakuza warrior with a strong sense of justice, duty, and humanity. And the story will deal with the repercussions of his actions in the 2 time periods. Takeuchi commented that the show will include, quote, intense fighting scenes, alluding to the wild action the series is framed for. And speaking on the tattoo on his back and sculpting his body for the role, as seen in the key visual image released, Takeuchi said, again, the person playing Kiryu, quote, you can't play Kiryu Kazuma without getting into shape, so I had to throw myself into it. This was a job not only for me, but also for the costume and makeup teams. It took 2.5 hours just to prepare for the shot, the one being the key art that we all saw. And then they keep going on. Of Kiryu's place in the story, Takeuchi said, in 1995, the protagonist is still young and he makes a lot of mistakes. And these lead to him spending a decade in prison and the consequences he faces when he gets out in 2005. I try to show those differences in the 2 time periods, and the cast helped to achieve this as well. And this is the last piece I want to talk about. In a press release, Masayoshi Yokoyama, head of RGG Studios and executive producer of the new drama series, said, quote, while the games let you experience their world through the subjective lens, this adaptation will be the ultimately objective way to enjoy the show. I have no doubt that fans of this series will be drawn to how it brings the games to life and adds new surprises. Newcomers, I'm sure, will find themselves invested simply in the gritty realism of the show. So you love seeing someone who actually works at the studio being involved in this. All I know, ladies, is I want to see Majima hiding in a traffic cone. I want to see Nishiki slick his hair back with blood. I want to see
in a traffic cone.
Oh my God, I want to bring toilet paper to people in public restrooms. I want to pick up packages of women's underwear. I want to see men in diapers. I want all of it. I just want all of this, but I have to reel myself back. But what's the fun in that? But I have to do it. And then I have to think to myself, how is this going to work, and do I think it can be pulled off? And first of all, I think starting with Yakuza 1 is absolutely the right call. As much as I would love to see Yakuza 0 be the kickoff point for the series, you would need like seasons and seasons to like fully flesh out that entire game. So this is a good starting point, because at this point, Kiryu is who he is. He's starting to really come into the Yakuza, the legend that he becomes, and it's a really good way, I think, to tell his story and kind of set the scene for hopefully, you know, a future series where they can expand maybe on like the drama of all of that is Yakuza. Yeah, so I think this is a good place for them to start this series. I do have questions like who's going to make it in? Who the hell is going to be Majima? And if I see one more of you motherfuckers say it's going to be Chris Pratt, I'm going to end you. I can't. So anyway, that's where I'm at, but I will stop and, you know, I will let y'all tell me how excited you are too.
I love your enthusiasm for this franchise, and if the reception, the production, the rollout of the Fallout series is any indication, then hopefully this series will also be successful. I think Fallout as a franchise is also in this weird, wacky corner of video games, just like Yakuza and Like a Dragon are. And so I don't think that that's going to prevent it from being successful. In fact, I think this franchise has the potential to be wildly bigger. Like, in fact, a magnitude bigger than Fallout was. And Fallout was what? Their second biggest debut ever behind House of the Dragon, right? No, Rings of Power. Lord of the Rings. That was the one. Like, that's the wrong thing. That's the wrong network, Andrea. So I think that this is exciting. It's great.
Yeah, I'm excited because I still haven't played any of the games. They're on my list. The backlog is embarrassing, whatever. But
we all got one. It's okay.
Yeah, but what I'm really excited to see is that they're releasing this in batches, right? And we've seen lots of different experimentation, especially from these adaptations from either books or games or whatever other properties into TV series where do you release them weekly? Do you release them all at once? Like, do you try to put half and half? Is there a different strategy? And these streaming platforms have experimented ad nauseum, and many different outcomes have come to pass. But I think what we've seen with the Fallout series, as you just mentioned, Andrea, is that people were really frustrated that they couldn't talk about it longer. Like, there wasn't a longer conversation. Folks had spoilers already out there before they got a chance to see the entire season. And this storyline, and at least the Fallout series, is outside of what we know that happens in the games. So it seems like this Yakuza series will follow some canon that has already been established, but there's some additional sprinklings of maybe another character that we don't know a lot about, or maybe some additional storylines. So I'm excited to see how the fandom specifically reacts to seeing one half of it dropped and then another half. I know that's been really successful with Bridgerton, and this specific season has exploded, at least on my algorithms and my timelines, because they've dropped 4 episodes in 1 month, and then a month later in the last 4. And there's lots of exponential sprinklings on what the book series has already established. And, you know, there's more stories, more characters, more flesh and color given to it. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Yakuza fans react to it and them pulling other people into the conversation. And I'm guessing this is going to be a similar glow up for the Yakuza games that we saw with Fallout, where you'll see them explode in the charts. Everybody's going to want to play them. They're going to go back and do some patches for anything that's a little janky unintentionally. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see more life breathed into this IP, because it's obviously made with so much love and care.
I feel like I'm one of God's chosen right now. I'm like, it's actually happening. And really, I had, in all my horniness, I hadn't even stopped to think about, what could this do for the IP itself? And that's why I think it's obviously very exciting, but also I hope. And I love that y'all brought up Fallout, because I think that did a really good job at capturing that wacky tone that I thought would be so hard for it to come across successfully over TV, but they did it. And so if they can do that, and I was talking to Jeff Rubenstein about this too, I was like, then I think they can nail the Yakuza charm, because it's, and I hope it's a good, because you haven't played the games, and listen, are you ever going to go back and play them? Probably not, but that's okay. But how cool if they turn it into a successful TV series and you can watch it and then learn how to appreciate or learn to appreciate why so many of us love it so much. And like the tone, the serious crime drama, but at the same time, then you're hunting panty snatchers down, right? And it just melds so well together. So I just hope, that it's able to nail that tone. And so I can just be like, you don't have to play the games, just watch the series.
Yeah.
So either way, here's the thing, ladies. There's going to be shirtless men with tattoos. And like, does it really matter? I don't know. If it does.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Excited. I can't help but think what an amazing moment this would have been to debut a trailer on stage at Summer Game Fest, though.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
I mean, it's still technically a possibility.
Yeah.
Like, this was the announcement, and maybe they have a trailer, because a lot of the production on this is already done on this show.
Yeah.
And it's possible they might have an actual trailer to show. And what a perfect place for it.
It's going to get slippery. That's all I can say. If we get a trailer, it's going to get so messy.
So you're saying we need to bring a towel.
I'll bring a fucking hazmat suit. I mean, listen, it's going to get... Also, though, don't forget, friends, that there's another rumor going around that, and it's kind of more than a rumor, like there's been like trademarks or not trademarks, I don't know, like official documents, that Judgment, the other series by RGG, is also getting a TV series. And that's the one that made the most sense, right? Because that's the whole detective agency with still some of that same humor of the Like a Dragon games. So... again, like maybe there's more coming, and I think it's really cool. And like, shout out to Sonic being so successful, because I think that probably helped light a fire under their asses and be like, ooh, maybe we can bring this to different mediums. So, anywho, very excited. October is far away, but not that far away. So I think I'll make it.
Yeah. Exciting. And that is going to be our feature story for the week, because you guys knew that we weren't going to do any other option.
Nothing else exists.
No, it had to be all about the husbandos. All right, everybody, when we come back, normally we would have headlines, but because it's the week of Summer Game Fest, we decided to skip those headlines, because there's going to be plenty of those this weekend, and instead talk about some games that we've been playing. So stick with us. We'll be right back. This episode of What's Good Games is brought to you by BetterHelp. Can you believe that we're already halfway through 2024? How are those New Year's resolutions looking? Got some wins to celebrate, maybe? Or perhaps you've still got some work to do? Well, talking to someone about your goals can help you stay on track. So when life feels like it's out of control, you can stay grounded. If you're thinking of starting therapy as a way to help you reach your goals, give BetterHelp a try. Perhaps you want to work on coping strategies, or you want to explore ways to increase self-awareness. Therapy isn't just for emotional support when times are tough, though therapists can offer help with that too. Therapy can enhance your interpersonal skills and your ability to communicate with others. It can lead to healthier and more fulfilling relationships by teaching you how to address conflicts, set boundaries, and learn how to express your needs assertively. You can get started today because it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your busy schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So take a moment. Visit betterhelp.com/whatsgoodgames today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/whatsgoodgames. Let's get into what we've been playing. And before we do that, even though I'm very eager to hear about what you've been playing, Brittany, I want to give our monthly shout outs to our Supercast super friends. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that you can support the show at whatsgoodgames.supercast.com? Like these wonderful, wonderful people. Britt, how about you kick it off? I'll go, and then Rihanna will go. We'll just do a fun little round robin.
I love a good round robin. Punkdefied.
Joshua Franklin.
Justin Foshee.
Faris Attieh.
Daniel Hall.
Andrew Cotton, who I think we skipped.
Nicole
We did.
Humphrey.
James Bravo.
Maniacal Mouse.
Gregory Sugano.
Patrick Landry.
Noel Navarez.
Joan Roberts.
Dewey Rees.
Steve French.
Gary Peck.
Kelsey Burgess.
Gabriel Oliviero.
Robert Friemering.
Jessica Blum.
Jason Demers.
Trent Pickberry.
Sean I.
Davey Strachan.
Rob Lennett.
Trent Pennington.
Tyler McCall.
Adrian O'Rourke Williams.
Shy Jackson Burgess.
Wall of Bill.
Teresa.
And last but certainly not least, unnamed producer, John Drake. Thank you for supporting the show. Yes, it's his birthday. He's turning 40, everybody. Isn't that exciting?
Very
Congrats,
exciting.
babe. Oh, also, happy belated birthday to you both. You both had birthdays since we did the show last.
We did.
Really?
We older.
Yeah, we sure did. Wow. Yay.
So many May babies.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
So
like my
many.
birthday calendar is just stacked in the month of May.
Yeah,
It's
you got a
insane.
lot.
It's crazy. Yeah. Then you got Mother's Day, and then all the other birthdays, and there's a lot. There's too many. Fuck
Yeah.
people born in May.
Yeah, all of you. No, so many people I love were born in the month of May.
Well, we're part of the problem.
I mean, I'm not going to say that's not accurate.
We are
Okay,
Geminis.
on to what we've been playing. Brittany, let's kick things off with Cat Quest 3.
This is such a charming little game. So this is developed by the Gentle Bros, and I think their motto is something adorable, like we make gentle experiences or gentle games or something. Published by Kepler Interactive, so thank you so much for the demo access. This game comes out August 8th of this year to Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S, X, and PC, so it's coming to all of the places. And there is a demo, I think, right now available on Nintendo Switch, but the one I got is a little bit longer, and I got to play on PC. And like I said earlier, these are just the most chill, warm and fuzzy experiences. They're perfect for adults, children, adults and children to play together. Don't be fooled by the way this game looks. I know it kind of got some heat, not heat, but it was kind of the butt of the jokes, I think, at it was a showcase recently. And I was like, no, y'all, like, Cat Quest is fucking fantastic. And I love the second one. It was a really great co-op experience. So the synopsis of this one is, play as a swashbuckling pervertier in this 2.5D open world action RPG set in a fantastical pirate-themed world, the Caribbean. It swarms with pirates searching for the Northern Star, a long-lost mythical treasure. So like the last one, once again, you have this beautiful overworld to explore. It's flush with tropical islands, and there's treasure chests to find, dungeons, better equipment. It's a kind of like it's an RPG, right? RPG, except for the combat is also real-time, and there's an entire progression system. And where the charm in this all just really lies, again, it's the story, it's the narrative. There are so many cat puns and animal puns while you play. Everyone talks with a pirate accent, and everything is like purr and fur, and it's just all very cute, and it makes me feel very good. You can tell this time, though, that they've taken the idea of Cat Quest 2 and really expanded on it. So now you have your melee attack, but you can push Y, and you can switch to a pistol, which I'll have, again, like Blunderpuss, I think is like one of the names of it. Like all like really cute shit. And you can just like shoot your pistol for ranged combat, or you can get up close. There's a dodge button. There's amulets you can equip that give you combos, and there's magic as well. So there's lots of different magic spells. I think the only ones we got in our demo, for example, I had a bubble that reduced damage on me and Jason because it also supports local co-op. And then I think he also had fire and lightning. And as you play, you'll be able to upgrade those at blacksmiths and other little shops with gold and other resources. So there's like a whole ass progression system with that. You now have a ship, which is really fun. And so you can just like ride your ship around, and it has a cannon and a special other, like sort of a pew-pew. I don't know what it's actually called, but it's like an ultimate cannonball. Whoa, so cool. But you can also upgrade that as well. You can give it more defense. You can give it powerful weapons. And when you get sick of your co-op partner driving around like a maniac, you can hop out in a cute little floaty, which is what I did. And I just swam everywhere because Jason's driving was just atrocious in this thing. Not that it was hard to control or anything, but he was out for blood that day when we played. So that's a really cool new feature that's super adorable. And like I said earlier, you have all this progression system. So it's like you have your weapons and you have your magic spells, but then you also have equipment. So you have hats and you have clothing and you have shoes, and everything that you equip will give you some sort of buff. It depends on what you want. So it's one of those games I feel like would be baby's good, like first RPG. It would be kind of perfect for that. But if you want to get real nitty and gritty with it, you can make it into a bit of more challenging of an experience and go take on enemies that you clearly aren't meant to take on. And so, for example, we found these 2 like little metal mofos. I don't even know what they were, but they kicked our ass. And so what we did is we ground. Why did I just say we grinded? We ground for a while, and we got powerful. Then we upgraded all our stuff, and then we turned the metal dudes into dust, and it felt very good. So the progression system is real, and you really get super duper powerful with it. And this game can be tricky if you bite off more than you can chew, but I think it's just brilliantly designed that way, where you can get really powerful and stick to where you're supposed to go, or you can venture off. Like I said earlier, there are dungeons you'll find, and the dungeons have been more expanded this time around. So it's not just like a simple it's one room and you defeat all the enemies, you get better gear. We found doors and there were keys we had to find and sorts of stuff like that. So again, very simple, but it's just the kind of game that you play and you walk away feeling better than when you started. You just feel warm and fuzzy and you laugh and you smile and it's cute. It's a really good decompression game, and I am very excited for Cat Quest, and I'm so happy this game exists.
I love that. I love a warm and fuzzy moment. I think we need more of those in life, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think the Gentle Bros are just doing such great work with these sorts of games. There's just not, you see it and you're like, oh, it's like a little kid's game, and you start playing, you're like, oh no, there's something for everybody with this. And again, I just really love it. And I love seeing the previews come out, because I think, again, a lot of folks had that assumption, but then after they walked away, they're like, wow, I completely misjudged this game. Completely misjudged it. So give it a shot, friends. It's very cute. Very, very cute.
Yay. I love that. I love that for you. And for me eventually, because I admittedly not spent a whole lot of time with Cat Quest, despite my undying love for cats in general. And I feel like it's time. It's time to play.
Yeah.
And maybe someday we'll play together. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not holding my breath, everybody. I'm not holding my breath. Okay. If you followed this show for any number of time, you know that it's our running joke that Brittany and I always talk about playing together and then never do play together.
We did play Diablo together.
We did also play that one brief moment of Fortnite when the Dragon Ball stuff came out. That was fun. Rihanna, you have been playing a really exciting game called
33 Immortals.
See, I was like, which direction is she gonna go? I was gonna let you pick. She's got 2 games technically to talk about.
I could talk about the other one very briefly, but let's start with 33 Immortals, because this is something we saw last year at Summer Game Fest. It was announced at the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, and the big gotcha moment was, oh my God, it is 33-player co-op. And you're like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
So, and I've seen it in action, and they're delivering, right? So imagine a, roguelike dungeon crawler that lets you team up with up to 32 other people in order to defeat the boss. And it's really, really good. So let me go ahead and read their marketing material here. So 33 Immortals is a co-op action roguelike for 33 players. Play a damned soul, a rebel against God's final judgment. Pick up and raid, cooperate, and survive hordes of monsters, defeat massive bosses, and face the wrath of God in a fight for your eternal life. So this is an action RPG game. As we said, it's purely raid mode is what I've played. It is an MMO. You're going to be playing with lots of different people. You can party up with your own crew, but you'll see other players that you cannot communicate with playing alongside you. There is no player v player damage or anything like that. You're all working together. And the way that the gameplay loop is set up is you enter into a raid, you start taking on little bosses, little enemies here and there. You're picking up currency. You go to a well, and then you try to upgrade your character a little bit here, a little bit there. You start to spec points into 3 different ways to increase your firepower. So you're either making your damage output more, increasing your health, or making your companions stronger. And between all of those different things, you start to beef up your character until it's time to go into the boss fight. And when that moment happens, there's this, fog of death that comes creeping in. Everybody starts running towards the center of what they can see as the apparent end of the circle. And you're all taking on huge waves of big, big bosses, and there's a final boss. And if you beat that boss, you unlock to the next chamber. Haven't gotten there yet, because that shit is hard. So it is a lot of fun. And what I really like about this game is there's a lot of fun lore in references to like different mythological figures, but they're not all set in one place. Like we know there's a lot of that in Hades 2, which I'm a big fan of, but this takes it in a different direction, right? They're a little bit more mysterious figures. From what I've read, this is adapted from the Divine Comedy, which is a poem by Dante, and one of the old 14th century poems. And so it's talking about all of the different circles of hell, and this is one of them. And you're fighting against this god, quote unquote, who's really a big jerk. So you're feeling like you as this lost soul and all of these other lost souls are really banding together to, fight for what's right against, this powerful being who has really taken advantage of their powers. And it's a cool concept, but what I like the most about this game is that when you are in this, massive co-op experience, it can get really, really chaotic and hectic, but you always feel like you know what's going on. And there's a set number of enemies, some of them big, some of them small. You know how much health they have left. You know if your shots or swings or whatever weapon I think you have one of 4 you can choose from. You know what it's doing. You know how much damage you're impacting because you can see the little health bar ticking down whenever you hit the character. Like, when you have a power-up available that you can share it with other people on screen with you. If you get separated from your own individual party, like let's say you are with a couple of other friends and, they're far away on the other side of the map, you can pull up a map and see exactly where they are. Mm-hmm. If you have a talisman available, you can teleport right to them. And if you're on your own 100% and you don't have anybody with you, there's always other people in there to fight alongside you. So it's not overwhelming, even though it looks really, really busy. And it's very easy to sort of get into a flow state with this, this constant loop where, okay, we're running in here, we're going to raid in this corner, we're going to meet up with this other group who spawned in the other corner of the map. Then together we're going to take on this mini boss. We're going to go into a mini dungeon, upgrade our weapons a little bit. I'm going to make sure I have 2 keys purchased so I can get both chests. And then we're going to start headed to the end boss. Like it's a good solid loop. And I would say each round takes somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes. So it's a good amount of time. Like that feels like a reasonable amount of time for me to commit to a raid right now. Well, before you get to the end boss. The end boss is a timed event mostly. So it's going to come no matter how well you have upgraded. Right? So you have a certain amount of time to run around, do a couple little dungeons and like get your skills up and get your party ready to go in for the boss. And it's not, 3 hours, which is a very long raid for me right now, but a very common amount of time for a lot of raids in other games. So it feels more doable. It's like a bite-sized chunk of all the things I like about these types of games, and it's running flawlessly. Like I haven't had a single issue with multiplayer, and I think technically it's still in beta, I want to say, which is really impressive to me. And obviously there's lots of room for them to grow. There's skill trees. There's different things that you can start to spec out for your character that last throughout every raid. So it's like permanent for all of your gameplay. But I'm starting to figure out, what are my favorite weapons? What are my favorite little power-ups that I like to do with my little crew? I was running with Khalif from Spawn On Me and then Danny from my home /Gamertag Radio, and we got a pretty good rhythm down. I felt like we were doing okay. We got the boss down a few ticks, and then we died more than once. So, it's a good little experience, and I'd recommend it for anybody who wants to sort of scratch that raid itch, but doesn't have that huge time commitment available.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yeah.
When I think of 33 strangers, I think of griefing. Is there room in this game for griefing? Do you share power-ups? Do you share gold, or do you always get your own?
You always get your own. So there's really no way to grief or steal or setting one up for failure unless it's, you're pulling aggro and then running into a big crowd of people and then like leaving them with it. Like that's pretty much the most you could do. But even then they'll be equipped to handle it.
And does the round end when everybody is dead, all 33 of y'all?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Or you beat the boss, but I haven't seen that happen yet.
You haven't gotten that far. Another question too. We saw a little screen where someone was customizing their character. Do you do that before the match, or is it the same character you run with each time?
So yeah, there's a hub world where you can, throw on off cosmetics. You can switch out your weapon loadout. You can spec your long-term skill points into different aspects that you'd want to stay on your character no matter how you're playing for the next raid. So there's that hub experience, and it's really busy because you can see all of the other people you'd potentially be matched with in the hub world. So it's kind of cool because you're like, oh, I'll see you on the battlefield, lost soul. It's like virtual camaraderie because you're not communicating with them. There is no ping system. I didn't have any voice chat. Like there's no need to communicate with the strangers.
Okay, great. And so you also mentioned, sorry, I'm like drilling you, but I'm really into this.
Yeah.
Long-term points or whatever. So are there permanent buffs that you earn in between? Okay.
Yeah, you earn the currency to unlock it. So then you can decide how you want to outfit your character long term.
Okay, so if you're going like for your very first run or whatever, there's a chance that you might be playing with people who are a lot stronger than you because they have like permanent buffs.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, they'll have like slower shorter cooldowns for their stuff, or they'll be a little bit meatier for their health bar, things like that.
Awesome. God, you should be a spokesperson, girl. You'd be answering these questions perfectly.
Turns out she's very good at that. Speaking of answering questions, teacher, I have a question too.
Yes.
Apologies if you covered this and maybe I just didn't understand. So if you die, like let's say you die like really early in the run and somebody from your group is still going, do you like spectate? Do you leave? Like how does that work?
They have a certain amount of time to revive you.
Okay.
And if that expires, then you're just out. You're back in the hub waiting for them to finish.
Okay, so you can't like start a new run. You just have to wait for them to be done?
You can't if you're in a party with them. You could leave the party and then go on your own run if you wanted to.
Okay, then otherwise you would basically just watch them play.
Yeah, there is no spectate that I saw. When I died in like permadeath, I got kicked back out to the hub world and had to wait. So we were in Discord chat and I was just waiting for them to finish.
Oh.
But that may or may not be, a beta situation.
Right. I mean, because in my mind, I'm like, what happens if there's like some oopsie and you die early and you have one of these super power level people who's, much more advanced than you, and then they just go for a really long run, and then you're like, well, I guess I'm just sitting here waiting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in your actual like party that like the friends that you got into a party with, they could play forever and you just kind of be sitting there waiting if they are the party leader. Or if you're playing solo and you're partied up with these 32 other strangers, you just get kicked back out to a new instance. So then you can go back in if you want.
Got it. Is there a benefit to waiting around for your friend? Like, should you wait around to like get rewards, or is it like, I'm bored, I'm gonna dip?
Yeah, it's more just,
it's when you start
camaraderie
on your phone.
You like
so far.
This is when I open up the mobile game that I'm playing.
Right? It's like back to Candy Crush. No, that's just if you want to be polite, you would wait.
Got it.
So did you say me that you were playing raid mode? Is that the only mode or is that just one?
This is the only way to play right now. It's so far from what I can tell, the only way to play the game is these, massive raids that they have different phases, and then it culminates in getting a boss killed. And then from what I have heard, you move on to another level with another boss. But so far, I've only seen the one.
This sounds really fun. I love that you can't grief, from what it sounds like, that you don't have to talk with strangers. Oh my God, I'm such an introvert. And that there is long-term progression.
Yeah.
So it's like if you die, it's like, at least you get something from it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fun. I know you were real turned on by this one, Ree, when you saw the announcement for it. You immediately were like, this is my shit.
Oh, yeah. And I played a test of it back last year after we saw it at Summer Game Fest. And then we only played with, I think, 8 players and like a couple of devs from the studio at the Thunder Lotus. So it was a much smaller group of people. This is my first time seeing it open up to like a full map of 33 players. And it works amazingly. It's really well balanced. The bosses are hard, but it does feel... I won't say fair. It feels like a good challenge.
Good.
Fair may differ depending on who you are and how much stamina you have for this kind of thing.
When is it coming out? Do you remember?
Out of beta? Ooh, I don't think they've announced.
They don't have it. Okay.
Yeah, but it's coming to platforms. All the Xboxes is.
The Xboxes. It's in Game Pass, I believe, right?
I believe so. I was playing on Steam.
Okay. Well,
was I playing on Steam? No, I was playing on Xbox. You're right.
I was like,
yep. Day 1 to Game Pass 2024. Hell yeah.
There
and
you
then
go.
Windows PC.
We actually got to play a game together, you and I. It was fun. And we played with some other cool people too. Like the guy who's in your household. What's his name again? Danny, right? Danny Peña.
Yeah.
Of Gamer Take Radio fame. So we played XDefiant. So this game has been blowing up bigger than I thought it would, to be quite frank. And I had a lot of fun playing and would love to jump in and do more. So this is the 5v5 tactical squad-based shooter that Ubisoft released. And we talked a little bit about it. Did we talk about this last week?
I think we made some predictions for XDefiant.
Oh, yeah, that there would be a new class.
Oh, yes. We were talking about how we are hoping for an Assassin's Creed announcement, but we didn't talk about what we've played yet.
No.
Yes. Well, we played it, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It is. I like that it I won't say that the time to kill is like favorable to players like me, but I would say it's a good challenge once again. I feel like I can try my hardest and sometimes I succeed, and when I don't, I know why. So that's good. That's all I can really ask for at this point.
Yes.
But
and thank you to Ubisoft for providing us with codes for the premium pass, because it is a free-to-play game, so anybody can jump in and try it, and you haven't wasted any of your dollars if you play a few rounds and you're like, it's not for me. You know, you don't have to like buy the battle pass or whatever right away. And you know, we can talk more about some of the microtransaction stuff in a little bit after gameplay. But I'm with you in that, you know, when we previewed this back when it was like, I believe it was like a closed alpha or closed beta test.
Yeah,
last year, we had fun with it, but I felt at the time, and still kind of feel, that it's straddling between these two fields of it's not fast enough and smooth enough to compete head-to-head with Call of Duty, and it's not slow and methodical enough and based enough in the abilities to compete with a Rainbow Six Siege, which, you know, clearly has a very different market of first-person shooters that are playing that game. And so it's kind of trying to swing between these two and trying to carve out its own space. And I don't know if it's quite hitting its stride in that regard. But, I mean, I had fun, even though I didn't do very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ton of fun. And I like the fact that right now it's only objective-based game modes. So you can sort of predict where people are going to gravitate. And it helps with, you know, every map is going to be new to you. They're all based in different Ubisoft platform or different Ubisoft IP worlds, but it's not like it's a map that you're familiar with. So you're like, oh, it's the Noodle Campus. Cool. But I don't know what that means. Like, where are the sight lines? And there's not a ton of verticality. People are absolutely sniping, to much to my chagrin, but almost every weapon class is viable except shotguns. That's supposedly going to be fixed. To address I know, right? But to address your comment about like it's not quite as fast as Call of Duty, like there is already a patch coming to address people who are slide hopping, which is like this traversal trick that people are using to like jump around corners and basically be unhittable if you're an unskilled opponent. They're already going to try to patch that. So they're addressing all of the things that make it feel a little bit unfair to high skill players, which is interesting because I know one of the key selling points of this game when they were marketing it was that there is no skill-based matchmaking. This is a free-to-play game. It is 100% possible for you to be playing against any other platform if you choose to opt into it. So if you're on console, you're playing against PC and vice versa. I'm sure there's mobile coming down the line. And it's interesting that they're saying, like, we really want to try to even the playing field as much as possible and make it more about, you know, your progression and your understanding of the map and your teamwork, because it's all objective based, when there's no way to guarantee that the people like me will be not playing with people who are going for full pro. So
yes.
It's been working out so far. We win some, we lose some when we play. It's been okay. I definitely can respect the grind for all of the weapon unlocks, because there are some higher level weapons that are absolutely more viable than the starting kit, which is obviously to be expected. All of the transactions that you can make in the game are cosmetic based, which is cool. But when there's like a double XP weekend and all of a sudden everybody has M60s and I don't, it sucks. But, you know, those are just your typical free-to-play game woes, and, you know, nothing that can really be changed because of the model that they've chosen. But I like it. I wish they would lean more into, you know, the Ubisoft properties, like, you know, give me some of the weapon, like the improvised weapons from Far Cry, for instance, or, you know, like just make it a little bit more personal for the different properties that they can pull from, because they have so much that at their disposal for all of that world building that they can pull from. The weapons are all very basic, but they're pretty well balanced, and, you know, the skill trees their skill progression does feel well paced. Like I don't feel like there's people running around with, you know, god tier stuff that I can't possibly hold my own against. Some of the classes that you can play as will have increased health. Some of them have increased damage output just natively. Some of them have grenade regen. So they have ways to sort of balance the play style depending on what type of character you want to go for and what your play style is. If you're more aggressive, if you hang back more, but there's lots of ways to make this feel good for you, no matter what you're into. And you know, after you get a few rounds in, you start to get the hang of it. So I feel like it's good. And I've noticed a lot of streamers keep coming back to it after their paid activations are over. So it seems like it's really sticking with people.
Cool. Yeah, I like ditto to everything that you said. I think we're really going to have to just wait and see what the support is as they continue on and how quickly they add some of those more unique touches. Because I agree with you that that's what's going to hook players to keep coming back. But I also understand that that's what makes balancing very difficult when you start to get into some of those more unique items. And I appreciate that they're saying, hey, you put the time in, you get the good rewards, you get the more powerful guns. It's just hard for mamas like us that are like, well, I can't put the time in, but I don't want to feel like I can't compete. You know, like my shot skills aren't that bad, but if my gun doesn't do as much damage as the gun for the guy who's been playing for 200 hours, you know, there's not much I can do about that. And it just kind of is like, well, I guess that's just reality. And it's a tough thing because you can't appease both of those groups and make it competitive to people who want to play that game over and over and over again, who want to feel like they're being rewarded for the time they're putting into the game. Like, I fully understand that. I'm just, you know, lamenting that person is no longer me.
Yeah. Also, I will say the escort mission sucks no matter what. Even if you do good, it feels bad. I hate it. Don't do that ever again, please. Fix it. Choose something else. Yeah, just choose something else.
Escort missions in general and shooters just never feel fun. So.
They're not great. Hotshot's cool though. Hotshot's very cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I'm sure you and I will have more to say on that at a future time when we get, you know, more time to play. Just to kind of wrap things up, I wanted to quickly talk about this mobile game that I've been playing. And I got a press release a little while ago about a game. And then the title of the email that came in was Gardening Meets Gaming.
Oh, that's you.
That's you, baby. Like a lot of people, apparently got into gardening during the pandemic and plant keeping. The press release started out with, according to the Mayo Clinic, interest in gardening grew during the pandemic as people turned to their gardens to connect with nature. Just look at Instagram. And according to UAPI, 74% of women of all age groups play mobile games, which we already knew since we talked to the wonderful Stan about it from the ESA, which, again, if you guys missed that episode, please go check it out. Lots of cool stuff in that episode. So I was like, okay, you got me. I'll check out this game and see what it's all about. Let me know what's going on. So the game is called Garden Joy. And I'll pull up a little trailer here so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. And the the trailers are all a little like hilarious because it's like women playing these games. And I'm like, why do you have to like characterize this like that? So basically in the game, you get this setting and then you get to pick it's like an outdoor setting, like a patio or a rock garden or like a rooftop, and you pick the trees, the ground cover, shrubs. You can pick the stone for walkways. You can pick the different kinds of furniture, and you have to tailor each of your plant choices based off the climate of the location that you're in. Right, so USDA climate zones are a thing, so you can't like put a palm tree in New York City, for example, and expect it to survive. Not that it super matters, because that's one of my criticisms, because you can technically put anything anywhere. Is the way you get ahead in this game is by having people vote on your designs, which is both good and bad.
Oh Lord, the anxiety.
Like, listen, so you never know who's voting. Just that, like, you have to set it up to something that you think looks good. And once you start voting on other people's designs, you realize, wow, the gamut of design choices really goes far and wide. I was like, I would have never put that rug with that chair, but sure, I guess that looks good to you. And then I just don't vote for them. I vote for the other person. But I do like how it's always head-to-head voting, by the way. It's like one or the other, but they have an equal sign in the middle. So if you, like, think they're both good, you can just hit the equals. But usually it's me being really kind of an ass and being like, these both suck. I guess you guys both get equal suck points.
This is the most Andrea-ass game. I mean, like, legit. I don't know, Ree, if you've sat through one of Andrea's spiels on like native plants and trees.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, okay, yes. So anyone who knows Andrea in the past couple of years know that this is like 100% her new thing. Like, she doesn't talk about it on the show, but she is like the plant goddess of California. I mean, I've learned so much from you.
Thank you.
I just can't believe this game exists because this is just so you. It has like the design of Animal Crossing, but it's plants, which is like your new thing, and then you get to vote and critique other people's design choices. It's just like, what else do you need in this life?
Literally, that's what I thought too. And then I started playing the game, and I quickly got smacked in the face with just the most egregious, stereotypical, time gating mobile game microtransaction bullshit that I was like, I was really hoping that this game was not going to have so much of that. And listen, I, as somebody who enjoys a lot of mobile games and quite frankly tolerates a lot of pretty egregious microtransactions in free-to-play mobile games, have just come to tolerate them less and less over time, because there was a period where the gaming community and consumers in general made a big uproar about how much we hated them and how bad they were and how egregious a lot of them were. And a lot of companies were like, okay, we hear you. We'll scale back and we'll change the economy and do some different things. In fact, that's why I love Apple Arcade so much, because every game I play within Apple Arcade, I never have to worry about these dumb microtransactions. This game is not in Apple Arcade. And there's clearly like a market outside of the traditional gaming consumer, which is less concerned about those kinds of microtransactions because they aren't in on the discourse, and I'm using my air quotes here, and with a capital D, the discourse around this kind of things, right? They're literally just women who go about their lives, not paying attention to what's happening in gaming media or gaming Twitter or gaming Reddit or whatever, and just play the game and have fun, and then they'll drop, a couple of dollars on the game here and there. Maybe they, spend $100 on the big diamond pack, because there's two microcurrencies in this game. There's coins and there's diamonds. And the thing that you run into relatively quickly in this game is that when you're designing an outdoor space, let me see if I can get another trailer here or something so you guys can see a little bit more of what the game looks like. It's tough because almost all of these trailers are like 50 seconds long. Is that you have these teal icons and peach colored icons. The teal icons in the game are elements that you must design in order to complete the finished look. And then the teal elements are optional. So for example, if you place down a patio table, an optional element may be to put like a bowl of fruit or a set of candles or some other decorative element on top of the table. Or if you have one area with a ground cover, an optional element may be to add like a statue or like a little fountain or something. So they kind of make some of the design elements mandatory and some of the design elements optional to make your design obviously look prettier so that you can hopefully get more votes and more stars. It's a 5-star system. And, if you get more votes and more stars, you get unlocked rewards, additional coins, and more coins means you can buy more items. And normally you're like, oh, that sounds good. Until you realize that, let's say you spend 2,000 diamonds in the game to unlock a really cool looking outdoor bench. It's like a Palm Springs mid-century bench with like a pink pillow. And you're like, oh, I have the perfect tropical garden idea where that could go. Well, you only get to use it like 5 times.
And
you don't pay to unlock something and then it goes into your inventory, Animal Crossing or Life Sim style, where you would like buy it from Tom Nook or whoever, whatever Life Sim game you're playing. And then it goes in and you can essentially use it over and over again. I know some games make you pay like per piece. Like in Dreamlight Valley, if I buy a piece of furniture from Scrooge, I don't get unlimited copies of that piece of furniture. If I want it again, I have to go pay for it. But usually the price is reduced and you're not paying the starter price. Not so in Garden Joy. You pay a price and then you get to use it 5 times and then you have to pay again to essentially like buy it to use it again.
Ew.
And that doesn't sound too terrible when you get like a big starting chunk of coins and diamonds, but you quickly run out because each of the individual challenges, there's like daily and weekly challenges, requires you to use very specific things. Like, for example, a challenge that I was just doing required a small pink variegated flower type. And it's like, well, you can use a filter to see, okay, what do I have in my inventory? And it's like, you don't have any. Well, then you have to go buy it with either coins or diamonds. And thus the grind for the microtransactions and paying into the game comes into play. Because the more difficult challenges with the better rewards require more specialty items. And then the specialty items require you to go to the store and to buy more things, which then they're like, hey, don't forget, premium store, come buy diamonds. And I'm like, motherfuckers.
No.
So in order to buy coins, you have to buy diamonds. And I was like, God, this is exactly what I didn't want. I didn't want this, but I really like this game. And now I'm like,
they're good. So
I've only spent $4 in the game so far, which for me is pretty good. Because I was like, do I just like bite the bullet and buy like the $50 pack of diamonds and just call it what it is and know that I'm going to be playing this? But there's only so many things you can do per day. It's not like there's like an endless decorating mode or a free play decorating mode, which I wish that they had. Like, I think that would be a really fun thing for them to add in. Is like, I would spend more in the game if I was able to, like Animal Crossing, just decorate things for me and not have to do these challenges every time. So,
well, maybe
and there's
you've discovered
a
a new
seed grow
genre,
element, but
a new genre, and maybe there's a better example of what's out there that you can find.
Oh, there are.
Okay.
There's lots of games like this. Like, I know that there's like the Home Designer. There's a couple of like designing games that I've been meaning to check out. But I think the reason I was excited about this one is because it's like specifically like the overlap of like design and gardening. And I was like, ooh, that's speaking to me right now as a gamer. I'm at that point of my life. And it's an easy game to just pick up and play for a couple of minutes at a time. And if I like have to close my phone or whatever in the middle of it, it's not like I lose progress or anything gets timed out, because some of the games I played in the past, like when I was really into Star Wars, Lego battles, like those are matches. And if you close your phone in the middle of the match, you just forfeit the match. So, because you're playing against a person. But here it's like you're not really playing against anybody. You submit a challenge and you have X amount of hours to submit to the challenge. And it tells you like, hey, there's like, this challenge ends in like 1 day and 6 hours or whatever. So you have plenty of time to submit if you want to compete. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to have to buy a bunch of packs of microtransactions. But I feel like I played for 3 consistent days, 4 days technically, because I played like half a day. And that's now I'm feeling I've hit the wall of what I can play for free without having to buy. But it's like there's no real way to buy just like a $5 game or even like a $10 game, because that's always been my thing with mobile games. I'm happy to pay, but I don't want to keep paying $10 every like 2 or 3 weeks like that. Now that feels egregious, right?
Yeah. Man.
So we'll see how it goes, but it's fun. I like it. So
good for you.
Yeah,
Baby.
Garden Joy. That's what it's called. If you're like, okay, I'll check it out.
Design some
Garden
shit.
Joy, everybody. Anyway, that's what I've been playing, because I tried to play Destiny 2, the final shape, but got locked out of the servers.
I know.
Same.
Y'all had high hopes to play together, and then, well.
There's time. There will be time. It's just a bummer because I have like a day or two to play before Summer Game Fest ramps up. I know everyone's listening to the podcast as Summer Game Fest is underway, but with it coming out on June 4th, it was like, oh man, dang. But there will be time. There will be time. Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on, everybody.
It's going to be a busy week, ladies. A fun week, but a busy one.
Yes. We're going to have some special episodes, too. We're going to be doing a special recording immediately following the Xbox Summer Games Showcase. So hopefully we'll be able to get that up for you guys right away. And then, of course, we'll have lots of coverage from Summer Game Fest, lots of games we're going to be playing and seeing behind closed doors.
Ooh.
I know that there was a story on Kotaku about Jeff Keighley, the executive producer of Summer Game Fest Live, trying to downplay people's expectations. And I was like, why?
Why?
Even the stuff you've publicly announced is a lot of cool
I am
stuff.
so excited for this year. Maybe even more than last year. I mean, some of the stuff like I'm going to see, I'm like, I can't wait to talk about. Unfortunately, some of the embargoes are like after Summer Game Fest itself. But doesn't matter. I still get to see it and talk about it at some point this month.
Yes. So next week's episode should be packed with goodness.
A doozy. Thick.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys will join us.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Thanks to everybody for hanging with us till the end of the episode. Have a great weekend. Play some video games or touch some grass or both. Bye, everybody.